Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Trades Talk Show, where we look at what happens in the lives of construction contractors and we talk about the core elements of life that drives us all. We're going to talk about physical health or belief in a higher power or relationships and, of course, our work. With me today is Sheldon Shaw. He is the owner of Weldon Roofing. He loves to read. He loves to do personal development. This guy over here likes to DJ, guys. DJ. He likes to play volleyball and sometimes do some boxing. Guys, help me welcome Sheldon. Thank you for coming on, Sheldon. It's
A
good to
pleasure.
have you.
Thank you.
All right. So you're the owner of Weldon Roofing. Can you tell us how it is that you got into the industry?
Yeah, 2020, it was 2020 when COVID happened. I was a sales and service rep for a environmental company. So we used
Mhm.
to transport hazardous material and service different machines and stuff like that. And I was the youngest person there, and I was the last to be hired. So since I was the last to be hired, I was the
Mm.
first to go. So first to go, and a friend of mine, which was a real estate investor, he had a property that needed a roof done. So because I had a friend that was a roofer and I had a friend that's a real estate guy, I kind of connected them. And when I connected them, we did the roof. I was on the roof helping out and stuff like that. So it was our first project, just getting the roof done, figuring it out. And then once the job was done, it was a successful job. So therefore, it was COVID. Nobody was working. So my friend wasn't working, because there wasn't much roofs at the time. They kind of fell back, and then I was a worker. I just got laid off. So since he wasn't working, and I was working. We kind of decided to come together and start a roofing company. So in
Mm.
like 2 weeks, so it was brainstormed in 2 weeks and kind of put it together and start. We went from once we started, we went to be a subcontractor. We were a subcontractor for a couple months, and then we got some reviews up. Once we got the reviews up, we started doing our own jobs. A couple months.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yep.
A lot of people they really got hit when COVID happened, but I'm glad that something brand new, something exciting has happened for you,
Mhm.
coming out of COVID. That's awesome. Since you since you kind of just jumped, like it kind of just fell into your lap, what are some of the challenges that you and your friend experienced while you were, just getting started, trying to get it up off the ground? What were some of those things you had to overcome?
Yeah. So as a newer business owner, one of the main thing I guess is all right. So I guess the first thing is like finding work, right? So finding work, what we did for that was he knew our previous contractor like 2 hours away, so we'd have to drive 2.5 hours every day to
Wow.
start working. I guess putting the money together to actually no, not the money, but at least the finding people to work. Because not very many people,
Ah.
you know,
Mhm.
had that skill set. And then what was the other little things? I mean, we just grinded it out. So the main part just starting. And I guess it comes back to funds as well because we didn't really have funds to start with trucks, start with none of that stuff. So we just some equipment here and there. We had a gun here and there, and just a lot of sweat equity, was put into it. So
Yeah.
just the first main parts of it. Everything else is all hustle.
Okay, that's good. I think even now, out of COVID, a lot of folks in the roofing industry, they probably still struggle with finding good people to get out there to get the job done. Maybe not the actual work itself, but maybe to do the selling. Was that some of the challenges that you guys faced
Well,
with
so
the
to do the
work?
selling, so so William, the other guy, he was a good. He's good at he's good at he's good at talking. Right, he's a good
Mhm.
talker. So selling came easy for him, and he always sold higher tickets than I did. And then for
Mhm.
me, I used to do like my family. like my mom, my dad are from the hotel industry, so I as well worked as a waiter at some point, So I am good with customer service. So selling wasn't really a per se issue if both of
Mm-hmm.
us were doing it, because I connect good with people, no matter the age, no matter where they're from, and then he's just a good talker. So the selling part wasn't an issue, but then if you're trying to scale, yeah, it's hard
Yeah.
to find people to actually replicate how you go about doing things. So
Right.
that's more of an issue. But that's the second to last position I'll probably give away.
Okay. Well, that's good. At least you guys were working your strengths, and you acknowledge, who was better at this, and then you kind of just ran together with that. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. For him, he's more A type personality. So he's a contractor. So he's the roofer. You know,
Ah.
right. And then I'm more of the I went to school for computers and stuff like that. So I'm more techie. So
Mhm.
I'm a more or less problem solver. So I just put stuff together, and just
Ah,
make stuff happen.
that's awesome. So that means you guys have awesome systems over there.
Yeah, yeah. So we just kind of make it work, pretty much. Just because it's two different types of personalities. So we'll make it work.
Yeah, awesome. So, do you think that what you're doing now is kind of what your purpose is?
It's in the direction.
Well,
It's
what
in.
does that mean?
So I more fancy. I guess how would I say that? So I like business. So I consider myself a business owner. You know what I'm saying? So
Well, you are.
well. So there's levels to it. So there's a guy in the truck. Then there's a
Ah,
there's a
okay.
contractor. Then there's a
I
business
feel
owner.
you.
So
So you consider yourself the, I don't know if you're co-CEO or how you guys decided that, but
yeah,
you could,
yeah.
okay. I
So
understand what you mean.
but so as a business owner, so I see myself as a business. So what I mean by that is I like the business aspects of things. So I spend most of my time with putting together processes, putting together systems, putting together the customer journey and building it out in the CRM and stuff like that, and then having to learn um cost of goods sold type stuff, financials, having to learn every aspect of running the business and delegating. That's really what I like to do. So therefore, um, I like to once you figure out the structure of how a business run, you could duplicate that or replicate that, no matter per se the industry. So that's the type of stuff I like.
Hmm.
That's the direction I want to go after this. Is just more business oriented.
So this is kind of like, I'm not gonna say stepping stone,
No, it's not
but
a
as you
stepping
had
stone, but
said,
yeah,
a
but it's
step in
been,
the right direction.
yeah, it's most definitely a training ground, for me to grow into, I guess, who I'm supposed to be, more or less.
That's awesome. So let me ask you something, Sheldon. A lot of people, they find their sense of purpose, what they're meant to do, is tied to some sort of faith or higher power. Is that something that resonates with you?
Is it something that resonates with me? So you said
Yes.
like a purpose.
In terms
Um,
of faith and spirituality, what is your take on that? How does that fit into the overarching goal that you have?
well, I'm not gonna say per se it fits into it, but I do have a certain type of perspective and mindset when it comes to spirituality, where um I got like a formula to how things work when you want things done in life. So basically,
Formula.
it's a formula, man. So you laughing. It's a formula. It's the mental, the physical, and the spiritual. You know what I'm saying? So therefore,
Okay.
you got to think about what you need done.
Mm-hmm.
Think about what you want to do. You have to have faith that you achieve it, and then you got to put in the work. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I see that.
Yeah. So the one, two,
I
three.
see that.
Then you gotta be it. Which equals to you gotta
Ah,
be. So hence why, like I would say, I'm a business owner, so I'm being a business owner. So therefore, I started to think like a business owner. So all that accumulates, you know, into how I see and view the world and how I operate. You know.
Oh my goodness. That brings me back to, I was listening to, I don't know if you know Myron Golden.
Yeah. So
Um,
yeah, you introduced me to
yeah,
him. Well, I looked him up like the day, and he's got some good stuff.
yeah. So one of the things that he talks about is being the kind of person that people would want to buy from.
Right.
And
Mm-hmm.
so one of the things that I'm conscious of is I keep asking myself, am I the person that when people look at me, they would be like, okay, she looks like somebody who knows what she's doing. She looks like somebody
Mm-hmm.
who knows what she's talking about and is, based on how I live, am I somebody who they would buy from? So I totally get where you're coming from in terms of the be attitude. And these are some things that you learn going to Sunday school, Sabbath school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah,
Having the
yeah.
right
Lead
be
by example.
attitude.
Yeah, lead by example, or they would say walk by
Yeah,
faith, not by sight. So when you're walking by
yeah,
faith, not by sight, but then you can't walk by sight only. You got to walk.
exactly.
You gotta close mouth, don't get fed, the whole shebang. So you put it together. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's how I kind of view it.
Awesome. So you mentioned that you like to DJ,
Mm-hmm.
and you told me that you like to do it kind of like with family and friends. How do you manage with building out the systems for the company and doing all the things that you like to do? How do you manage to keep in touch with your family and your friends, kind of to keep that balance?
Right. So last year I did last year we had a couple storms here in
Mhm.
Indiana. So it was a learning thing for me where I burnt out. But because I burnt
Mm,
out, I know there's a limit. So because now there's a limit, it comes to 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, I shut it off. Or Sundays definitely no work, or half day Saturdays. Before I didn't have a limit. So
so now you found your boundaries.
yeah, yeah. So like for example, maybe like 2 years ago, we have kickbacks, right? We go to Will's house, and there'll be a bonfire, and we hanging out, maybe on a Friday or Saturday after work.
Hmm.
We'll be drinking, and then I'll go home at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and I'm doing estimates. 2 o'clock, it doesn't matter, like
Wow.
yeah. So or when we just started, we used to drive 2 hours, go do the work, we come back, and then I'll do estimates between 8 to 10, and then 11 to 12. I might quit working at 11 or 1 o'clock in the morning. That's kind of
Wow.
what I think, So I've learned balance. So now, when because I like to stay by myself, but when people invite me out, I gladly take the invitation, because if it's up to me, I'll just be home chilling and working. So
Yeah,
there's a balance on
that's good. I had to learn balance too. And even now, sometimes I'm not gonna say that it's a big struggle now, but definitely earlier on, I'm gonna say as close as last year this time, I
it.
I had struggled with those boundaries, but then I, as my friend told me, you just gotta decide to do it and then do it.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
Because it's something that it because you wanna show up your best, you wanna put your all into it. Sometimes that gets confused with healthy boundaries, or some people. For me, it is the case where if I don't tell myself that I'm relaxing today, I feel like I'm wasting
Right.
time.
Right. 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 Mm-hmm.
So I had to, like, if I'm gonna take off a day or two, I have to tell myself this is what you're gonna do, or my brain is gonna be like, "Girl, are you sitting there wasting time? Do you know you have this, and this to do?"
Yeah. So like my mom, she'll watch Netflix back to. I can't watch 2, 3 movies. I can't do that. I
Back
watch
to
one
back, because you
movie.
feel like you're unproductive.
Yeah, I watch one movie, then I'm back to moving around, or back to watching some type of course or some type of something. Like I can't just be back to back hours watching Netflix. I can't do it.
Yeah, I understand. So, okay, you love the productivity, you have found the balance, but what does having good health mean to you? Is that something that you prioritize? Maybe going to the gym. Well, you say that you like to play volleyball. Is it something that you do regularly? How do
Yeah.
you take care of yourself throughout all of this?
So volleyball, I play volleyball every other week, and
Oh,
for like the past 8 years.
mm,
And I I started when I was 15. Used to play basketball before that, and then but I'm lazy. I don't like running, so so I prefer just to do volleyball. And then what else? Boxing I did when I was 18, 19. So I still do that from time to time. And I plan to also, the goal actually is to sponsor the club here eventually.
wow,
You know,
that's nice.
yeah,
Is
just
that something that you're gonna do for like the community to kind of teach the kids
well,
or give them something to do after school, or is
well,
that just something you want
there's
to
a
do
boxing
professionally?
club. There's a boxing club the town over. So that's where I usually
Okay.
would go, and I have to be registered and stuff like that. Boxing league and stuff like that. But when I would go, well, the goal is for me, since it's like a community thing.
Hmm.
That's the first thing I want to start sponsoring, because that's something like I actually do. You know what I'm saying? So, and then there's kids there, and the club is ran based off the dues. The money,
Hmm.
stuff like that. So if I could sponsor some gloves or some gear or stuff like that, that's my first step in giving back, more or less. You know.
Yeah, that's
But yeah,
cool.
but
I like that.
back to you said fitness. I
Yeah,
believe business is a sport, so you have
it's not
to.
the same. It's not the same.
It's a strong mind, man. A strong body, strong mind. So, okay,
Well, yeah, but listen, I woke up this morning
mhm.
and people would say the wrong side of the bed. And by the time I hit the gym and I got my workout in, I was feeling a lot better. It's not the same. And then,
But that's the point. That's what I'm saying though. When you hit the gym, it gives you that go factor. So it makes the day better. So for example, I don't really like to be around people much, even though I'm a people person. So I go to the gym at night, 10, 11 o'clock.
okay.
Well, I used to. So now it's in the morning. So if I go at 10, 11 o'clock at night, I can't sleep because I'm ready to go. My brain is gone. So
Yeah.
now it's best to do it in the morning, when you wake up, because it's better to get the day going.
Yeah, that's what I do.
So, and
Oh,
then if you're constantly working on yourself, how you do one thing is how you do everything. You know what I'm saying? So therefore it reflects.
ah, I love that. When I heard that the first time, I was like, I don't know if I agree. But then as time progressed and I kept thinking about it, I was like, I think it's true because you find that even people that you work with, like people that you get to know, even in the business world, like you go networking or something and you meet somebody, the way that they show up in one area is usually the way they show up in other areas. So I was like, okay, well, sometimes even now I remind myself, do I want to show up this way or do I want to show up that way? Sometimes you gotta, going back to that whole personal development thing,
Hmm.
you have to talk to yourself to say, okay, this is what you need to do. Do it this way. You
Yeah,
gotta take control of the whole situation to show up
constantly.
a certain way. Yeah,
Constantly.
constantly. Oh my goodness. I love that. I love everything that you have shared. Well, maybe not, but I'm kind of I'm a little different. I have my moments when I want to be around people and not want to be around people. But for the most part, I'd say that I do good, going out there talking to people. Doing this show,
Hmm.
doing this show has definitely helped me to get out of my shell, to go out there more, to talk to more people.
Yeah, because
But yeah,
it builds conversational skills that you have to be in the flow. You know
yes,
what I'm saying? And then
yes.
and engage and stuff like that. Mhm.
And then I'm a part of the Toastmasters International Club. It's a club
Yeah,
that did I tell you about it?
no, I know about it. I looked into it like years ago.
Oh yeah, so I do that too. And tomorrow I have another speech. So I'm
Right. So yeah,
constantly
they put
putting
you on the
myself
spot.
out there.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
put you on the spot. They would be like, well, you gotta speak without saying Yeah, you gotta, because I went to like
Yes.
different meetings way back in the day. Hmm.
Yeah. So it's something I do now, and I find it to be very helpful because before that, I most times would probably stumble over my words. I mean, I'm not saying I don't do it now, but it's a lot better.
Hmm.
But yeah, I,
Yeah.
I give myself more opportunities to to go out there.
Right.
Let's just put it that way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So as it relates to the business, what is the most enjoyable part about what you do?
Most enjoyable part for me is every day is a new day. Right. So yesterday, yesterday was what? Yesterday was repairs here and there, and an inspection. Today I got a roof going, and I'm gonna do an inspection after that. Like every day is never the same. So versus working in a factory, that sucks because every day you're doing the same thing. Or you go to the office, every day you're clicking, you're sitting down, it's just rudimentary, I guess is the word. I can't do it. Variety is a spice.
Mm,
Yeah, variety is a spice of life, so I can't every day is a new day, and then sometimes you run into different types of people, business owners, engineers, you run into retired people, that used to do all type of stuff. You run into so many different types of people on a daily basis. And I'm a customer service type of dude. So therefore it just flows for me. So that's what I like about it.
yeah, and then as you said, and it doesn't, like, you don't know who you're going to run into, and sometimes some of these very people that you run into, you never know what kind of sort of relationship you'll end up developing with this person. What they say
Mhm.
about that, your net worth is your network is your net worth.
Right. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so like for me, I'm like in the town that I am in, as of like I think it's last year. As of last year, I've moved up an echelon in the town. So now I'm like a handshake away from the mayor. So basically
Mm,
what that means, so like you could live in the town and you don't know anybody, but because now I'm networking or
yeah,
people know me based from doing the roofs, and then I run into so many people who know somebody. I'm basically like a handshake away from the mayor. 6 degrees of separation, more or
that's
less.
true.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't go out as much as you in terms of physically, but I'm telling you, doing these shows, it has allowed me to connect with so many different people, even people who probably don't want to come on the show, but it's still good to be able to go out there, because sometimes I have people ask me, "Oh, do you know this person?" "Oh, yeah, I see that you're talking to this person."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it helps. It helps. You might
Yes,
never know when
definitely
you
helps.
might could connect somebody with somebody. That's another thing I do as well.
Exactly. Yep. And then aside from eventually getting out there and teaching the business side of things, what are some other goals that you have? Maybe not just for yourself, but also for the business that you're kind of working on.
Goal for myself. So the ultimate, well, not the ultimate, the original goal for me was in 2021. I saw I saw a speaker. He was like, you got to have a goal, a 10-year goal, XYZ. So the original goal was, I'm doing 10 years. I'm doing 10 years in this business, or at least for this business. All right.
Hmm.
Um, make it scalable, make it profitable. I don't need to be the biggest. I just need to be one of the most profitable. I'm real big on branding, and
Hmm.
also I'm big on presentation and stuff like that. So for me, because there's so much different information up here, um, there's a potential maybe marketing agency type stuff that I have access to be able to do. Then there is doing the roofing business. Then there's also, since I am a contractor, I do have access to other people who could get into real estate and stuff like that. So I have multiple different options once I kind of hit like a milestone
Hmm.
to branch off into, which is either marketing, which is either speaking and teaching business. Then there's either real estate that I got access to people to buy and flip. Because it comes back to the network, because I got a network of contractors and I got a network of people who potentially have money and know how to use other people's money, OPM,
Hmm.
all different types of stuff. So that's kind of,
That's all
yeah.
very exciting. So maybe when I'm ready to go into real estate, I should probably hit you up, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know a few things, and a few people. It depends if you want to wholesale it, you want to buy and flip, you want to,
Yeah.
you want
But There's so many different ways to do it.
Yeah, it's a
You
lot of
know,
it's a lot of different ways, and it's people build wealth in America two different types of ways. Either well, the two common ways are either wealth or real estate or stocks. And what real estate is more physical, and stocks is more
yeah,
open air. And then
tangible.
so yeah, so and I know how to do both, but real estate would be better.
Mm.
Stocks is very
Okay.
stocks is very high risk. So
Yeah, that's true.
uh
All right. Well, it has been great chatting with you today. Oh my goodness. It's been good to remind myself about having that V attitude and showing up my best self every single
uh
day.
for sure.
Thank you for that reminder. And then also thank you for the reminder of having that balance between, not getting burnt out and actually getting the work done. So thank you so
It's
much.
needed.
That has been very helpful.
Mhm.
So if you had one thing that you'd like to share with somebody who's just getting in the industry or somebody who wants to probably get to the next level that they're kind of stuck at, what would you say to them?
You got to work on yourself. Your business is a reflection of you. So
Hmm.
therefore, when you work on yourself, just like how your business got different parts of it, marketing, sales, all that stuff, you got to work on yourself all the way as well, all the way around. Because if you are not showing up in your personal life, you won't show up in your business.
Oh my goodness, I love this. I love it so very much. I love it so much. I probably talked to you about this offline, but I had to take a moment. Sometimes, even though I do accounting, sometimes I have to be a counselor
Hmm.
to my clients. So a couple weeks ago, I had to talk to a client and say, "Listen, you have to show up this way. You have to decide what your why is. You have to show up based on your why. You have to decide how it is that what it is that's driving you to
Hmm.
get up in the mornings. You have to decide what that is." So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
and a
what
lot
you
of
just
people don't know that. And I mean, it took a while for me to find it, because it just took a while for me to find. Because people start because of the money, but then you got to find a why. Because if you don't have a why, you can't. There's nothing to move
yeah,
you forward when you don't have the motivation.
exactly. Exactly. And that's something that I've been very conscious about these past few months, like very deliberate, very intentional about showing up a certain way, about looking my best self. Even if I don't feel like it, get up and
Mhm.
do it anyways.
Yeah, that's a self-discipline right there.
Developing that kind of discipline,
Hmm.
to get it done even when I don't feel like it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much again. So, how can people find you? Let's say I'm in Indiana. I have something going on with my roof. There's a storm coming or something. How can people find you?
So at the moment, I'm top 3 on Google. So type in Roof in Michigan City, you're gonna find me right at the top. Basically, I'm gonna pop up Roof in Michigan City, welding, roofing, and construction, and
All right.
yeah, we'll be the go-to guy for roofing in this area, more or less. That's the plan.
All right. That's it, folks. If you would like to be featured on Beyond the Trace Talk Show, reach out to us on Facebook. You can go to Beyond the Trace Talk Show, hit contact us, and you'll get connected directly to me. Until the next time.